Creating content at Udacity is very exciting. Every day you're learning something new, you're doing something new, maybe taking something you knew before and figuring out a way to spruce it up and make it exciting so that way you can get other people enthusiastic about it the same way you are.
Believe it or not, my favorite part of course development was all of the tablet work. A lot of people don't like talking to themselves out loud for hours at a time, and I actually thought it was great because it allowed me to formally organize my thoughts, which made me, I think, better.
And one thing I recommend when you record is actually, and we did this, and I think that was a good thing. We didn't start with lesson one. I mean, lesson one is the one that you really want to catch the student, you really want to have them engaged, and you will learn so much by doing, for example, lesson 5 or lesson 6. You will take with you that experience in the creation, so you can actually create a much better lesson 1, which is the most important one for the student to get into the content.
Something that I like to do, and Andy, another course developer, did a lot. We would always sort of say, you know, in 3 to 6 months after a student's taken your course, what would they say? And I think when you think about it like that, you get a really clear perspective on sort of like the big picture of what you want to be true.
So the biggest thing that I learned while making our Udacity course is how to really keep a big picture in your mind when you're working on a small piece. Now I can think about how people learn and what they're trying to look for and what's really effective as far as, you know, making sure they have everything that they need. And that kind of work to really put your students first and developers first is what's going to make you more successful in your course.
It's easy to get into the habit of having things 50% done, 75% done when you're working by yourself on a course. But once you bring in the production lead, like, you're working as a team, and so you need to be there 100%. Because if you have material that's not ready yet, then it's really difficult for them to work with you or to be creative and make things even more interesting because you still haven't finished your part.
It's very good to come into the studio very well prepared.
If we had really committed to getting our code done early, we would have known exactly how many steps, how many modules, how many lessons there were going to be, as opposed to, you know, tweaking everything as we went along and having to kind of redo some work.
In particular, if you're doing outdoor scenes, you have lots of things going on. Are there going to be many people at that location? Is it going to be noise? Will there be wind? I remember one instance there was a construction where we had a truck moving back and forth, and it has this beep, beep, beep signal, so we couldn't shoot because of that.
It takes definitely a lot of planning. I think planning is probably the biggest thing that you can do. It's the best thing that you can do to make sure that you have a successful course.
Don't get overwhelmed. It's a lot of work that you're trying to do, and you're trying to work with a lot of different people with different perspectives and processes and from different companies, right? But if you are communicating effectively and if you know what you want to do and you hammer it out early on, this can be fun. And it was fun for us. We actually really enjoyed the whole lead up to I/O.
Picture that student that you're talking to as if you're tutoring them, as if you're helping them. So that way it's not so much focused on you and the cameras and the lights that are in front of you, but you actually helping out the other person that's on the other side of that camera.
That's sort of the fun playground, is thinking about all the ways you can have someone go through some sort of experience to gain understanding and learn new things.